Hollywood. This is SoFloRadio.com. ZNation. ZNation. Where consciousness is queen, love really is the answer. And making a difference is on the menu. ZNation. Organic beats and inspiring treats. Get your weekly dose of vitamin Z now. This is ZNation on SoFloRadio.com.
What up, world? Hi.
What's up, world? This is the ZNation radio show. We are a conscious podcast radio show airing right out of Hollywood, Florida. This is Zayna de Gaia.
And this is Emily Sunset Martinez.
And we're vibing out. We love to shine the light on what's good in the world, people doing brilliant things, and really being aware of like what's awakening humanity right now and putting our attention on, wow, there's amazing people in the world doing amazing things. And each week we welcome inspiring guests who are living the conscious lifestyle. They're operating conscious businesses. They're making a difference in the world. And we learn from them. We learn about what they do. This week we have Ludmia Lamothe, my dear sister. Hi.
Hello there, everyone.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So, guys, we're so excited. We're premiering a new show segment where we bring together people and have a panel, you know, kind of like discussing a topic coming from different perspectives and just, you know, putting on different lenses and being able to just be with all the different perspectives that there are. And today we had the idea of having a show on, like, who is a spiritual teacher, or what are spiritual teachings that you've encountered in your life, Sunset, Ludmia, Zayna, that really like profoundly made a difference for you that you want to share. And we all have a lot of those. If you've been on the path, you know, you've been putting yourself in situations and the universe has attracted to you situations, teachers, circumstances that awaken you. So that's what we're doing today.
I love it. Because, you know, they give us so much knowledge, and it's so awesome to talk about our Dharma path and who has given us the knowledge so we can go out and experience like these amazing feelings. So, yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, the growth, it's, you know, there's no like, there's no recipe or roadmap that works for everybody as far as like how to awaken to your potential, how to realize who you are. You know, to drop the masks and the layers of inauthenticity that start to like pile up around our hearts. So, you know, when we take on transformational work, deep primal healing, yoga, meditation, we actually, if you are just questioning, if you have the opportunity in this life to question, what the am I doing here? What's my purpose? You want to get, if you have that question, then go all the way in this life. Like, don't mess around. Go all the way to what? All the way to realization. Pick a path, stay on the path, and just do it. This is the life. If you have the capacity to question it, don't hold back.
Where I always say, if you have that moment where you're like sitting on the floor holding your dog and it's like, what the hell am I doing here? Then go on the path and really start it's going to come to you. I think once you get there, it's like, all right, that means you're open.
Yes.
You know, that's like the final straw. And it's like, all right, I'm ready to like do what I need to do. I know that's how it was for me. I know it's different for everyone, but I feel like that's always the same question in someone's mind when they're like on that space of like, there has to be something else. So it's like, go out there, and it's like, there's so many teachers, and at the end of the day, for the most part, it's all the same message. It's just a different way of saying it. So it's just like, just because one person might like this teacher, you know, maybe you'll find another one that maybe speaks a language or in a way that you really connect with. So it's just like, there's so much out there. So like, start exploring and find your teachers who are there to share with you like this amazing knowledge. You know, it's like,
there is a teacher that I think we all have as a common denominator if we're willing to open our eyes and be with. And that teacher is nature. just using the elements of nature to teach us. I'm gonna start talking about my teacher.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to segue right into the first teaching. So we're going right now into 5 minutes. I just want to, can we pause before?
Yeah, let's
and just
do it.
pause and take a breath together and just be present that this is all there is right now. If we have any illusion of someday later, it's all there is right now. We could just pause with one another and breathe. Slow it down. So I'm going to share about, I've had so many amazing teachers through my life, and whether it was experiences or actual people. A couple of months ago, I went and spent 10 days in Hawaii with one of my teachers, and I called her my teacher before I knew anything about her. And I segued into Vanessa because we started talking about nature, right? Having nature be your teacher. And Vanessa really taught that to me. When I went to Hawaii, she would send us on these inquiries, these contemplations, where she would say, pick some aspect of mystery. She called God the mystery. Pick some aspect and then go study that aspect in nature as if you're reading scriptures. Study a rock as if you're reading scriptures. And Vanessa was very strong on that, on using nature to heal, using nature to understand and grow. I did a lot of work with nature while I was out there that helped me just let shit die, let stuff go, better understand myself. Because with nature, she teaches us in a way that's unapologetic. She just does what she does, and it's so clear. And when we realize that, like, we are part of nature, fully integrated with her, like. I remember Vanessa saying something, and it just went right to my heart. She said, I can be like as violent as a volcano, and I could be as soft and sweet as a butterfly or a flower. And that's my nature. I am nature. And we have the capacity to have either one. And when we understand nature and we become, for me, become more curious about her mystery, that rather than afraid of her mystery, and that's something I that was revealed to me by snorkeling in nature. I kept being afraid of the mystery of the ocean. She was so scary. And then one day, while I was snorkeling during the retreat with Vanessa, I discovered this new way of being where, okay, I'm scared, and then I started becoming curious of these areas under the water where I didn't know what would come out, what fish would come out, or what would be offered there. So I wanted to share a little bit about Vanessa's teachings and the impact they had on me. So she has on her website, vanessastone.org, she has these little clips. They're like a minute and a half. You can listen to them. We're going to play a couple today. And they're pretty potent. A minute and a half is just... Let's play one. Yeah, let's check one out. What's this one called?
Knowledge and
the
experiences.
Experience. Wisdom can only come from experience. A wise person is someone who's experienced life. They may know nothing except how to be here right now with you, or to live. They may only know what they've seen, what they've experienced in nature with the trees and the wind, or the moon. Those moments, we've all had them. Those moments, there's no book in front of you and it has nothing to do with what you know. They are offered freely to you as an experience. To live is to recognize that in that moment. And then to fully immerse yourself into that book. The book being that experience, the nature. Has nothing to do with knowledge. I don't need to know anything to have a direct experience with God. I don't need to know anything to have a direct experience with the self, my authentic self. I don't need to know anything to have an experience of love. I don't need to know anything. But I do have to be willing, one, to not know anything, and two, to maybe miss it.
You know, when I first met Vanessa, I was in Austin on the bus tour with Moses. And we were visiting Austin, and she has an organization called the Amala Foundation. And it's one of her expressions of serving God is working with children. And there was a talk going on with Vanessa that night, and I just was really drawn to go and listen. And I went and I listened to her talk, and she walked into the room, and there's just this presence that walks in that it's just in the space of like the gurus. She walks in. And she did this beautiful talk that changed the course of my life at the moment. I was dealing with a lot of stress. I was looking at going to jail for a few years, and I was really stressed out. And I remember going to her talk, and she shared about her life, and she shared about how things in life don't happen to us. They happen for us, and they happen for our soul's growth. So I remember sitting there, and in one moment, the lens I was living my life with shifted, and I was no longer a victim of this circumstance in my life. I was now empowered by it. And I actually started making like programs for the prison, and I fully accepted my situation. I got excited that I can grow my soul because that's what I'm here for. And it completely just took me into this experience of plunging into my spirituality. I started praying for myself. I started praying for others. It's something I had never done before. I've always been like self-centered, like an ordinary human being who's just all about herself and what she wants in life and her dreams and what's important and getting what I want, to being somebody who just, I gave my life over. I said, God, I just give my life over. I'll serve, and I'll serve anywhere you put me. And it, and that experience did grow me spiritually. Heck yeah. I went from being like all about me to being somebody who's interested in serving. Like, my mom jokes like I'm a Mother Teresa. It's, but and that was my awakening, and that was probably the toughest situation I've had in my life up to now, was dealing with that whole circumstance of my freedom being, or the illusion of my freedom being taken away, and then fully accepting it, embracing it, and being empowered by it. And then eventually, it's funny because I kept thinking, who would I be once this ended? Who would I be once this was all done, this whole story? And I remember getting the news one day that I wasn't going to go to jail, and I hung up the phone and I realized nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. I'm this person right now. And then a few years later, I got an email from Vanessa, and she was doing this retreat in Hawaii, and I fundraised to go to it, and I'm so grateful I went. One thing that drew me also to Vanessa is she taught, when I first met her, she taught us how to do something called divine alignment. There's a lot of different traditions that teach something similar, is what I found. It's basically aligning yourself, your chakras, your whole magnetic field with the magnetic field of the earth and the magnetic field of the sun, and then bringing it together like a trinity. So it's like an activation. And then the way she teaches it is then you bring it into your heart, and then you release it out with a sound. So the sound, the vibration, it like locks it in, and then you're in a divine alignment with the frequency of like God and the universe. But how she sealed it, the sound that she used was Allah. And the first time I met her, like when we were in Austin, she said that like very matter of fact, and then she kept going. And for me, it awoke something, because Allah is part of my culture and my language, and it's a word that was not in my vocabulary.
Yeah.
And I was not interested in, and she like woke something in me. So I'd love to listen to another clip. Yeah, the Living Awake.
Sure.
So you have two options. You can try very hard to make a life that doesn't have what you perceive to be the mundane in it, which means eliminating, separating, turning away from all those things, which are a whole lot of things, right? I mean, your parents are probably kind of mundane, and a whole lot of things that you're quite woven into. Relationships, jobs, your careers. There's one thing, you can turn away, turn your back on that, and maybe not literally, maybe you just turn your spirit away, your heart away from that. Because it's just the mundane. And that's one option. Or you can finally see whatever it is you perceive as the mundane as actually the most potent doorways in your life right now for realizing the sacred. I mean, those are the options, right? I have a great seat in the house in that I see people running from the mundane all the time. It's almost like it's worse once you've tasted, but I'm just going to, for the sake of the sacred or the mundane, once you've tasted the profoundness of one of those moments where you're there, you feel it, you're present. You're awake, you're aware, and you feel the interconnectivity of all things. You know, just one taste of that, and it's very easy then to see everything else as without that. But here's the deal. Not one of those had more than the other. Not one of those moments ever did have more divine or less divine or more truth or less. Not one ever did.
Isn't that amazing? It's just like the sacredness of each moment. And, you know, when Vanessa talks about the mundane, like, I hear from me, like, you know, what we consider as boring in our so, like, needing to be entertained minds. Like, the mundane is like going to the park and sitting and watching the trees kind of like, you know, the leaves move a little bit, or observe a squirrel, or go kayaking. So mundane to sit in a little kayak, you know, for this day and age. You know, to slow down. And one of the things that I heard Vanessa say the first time, too, is that, you know, God is in the subtle. And it really takes slowing down to tap into the subtle. It's like in Vipassana, you know, you observe first the gross sensations. And the gross sensation is the itchies and the temperatures and my back hurts and all that. But when you go deeper and deeper into your observing, and you're taking the time there, because you're doing it for like 15 hours a day, and then you can actually go in from the gross into the subtle, and then you start to observe like yourself as a vibrational being. You can actually start to experience yourself as vibrations. But it's that awareness, like you've got to practice. You've got to sharpen the mind and actually be interested to go there. Because, you know, we have Netflix and video games and movies and phones and social media. Sometimes I find it's tough, and I found it's becoming easier for me because I'm fed up of not being connected at the level I want to be connected. Like, we have everything we need to be that connected. Like, if you want to go to church, go to church. If you want to be with Pachamama, go be with Pachamama. If you want to, you know, meditate and learn how to meditate, then get into it and just be on your path and do it. Be on your path and do it. Bah.
No, I love it. Like, be on your path and do it, because there's so much things that we talk about and we have excuses, but actually doing it is when you're on the court, you're in action.
Yes. Yeah.
Being diligent about your transformation. Being diligent about wanting to feel enlightened and not trapped in the old beliefs.
It's having like that one pointed focus. When I was snorkeling, I may have shared this story, but it was so powerful for me. My neck was hurting so badly, I couldn't hold it up when I was sitting. So when I snorkeled, there was these big turtles around. It was like a turtle sanctuary. And I kept looking to the right and looking to the left and being afraid that they would like rub up on me or they would be next to me. My neck kept hurting that I finally just went, and I let my head drop. I drew my chin towards my chest, and my head just dropped into the water. And I just started snorkeling like that. And my neck was just so relieved, and it didn't hurt anymore. And that was my scriptures. That was the lesson from Pachamama, is keep yourself on the path, one pointed. Don't look to the left. Don't look to the right. compare myself here, compare myself there. My neck fucking hurts.
Yeah, because it's like you distract yourself and you get off the path, and then it's like you're like 6 months later and you're like, where am I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That happened to me. I was like driving in my car today and I missed the exit, and I noticed it 2 exits later. I'm like, oh shit, I was not aware. I'm like, oh my God. And that's how life is. You know, you miss the exit that you're supposed to get off, and then you got to make a U-turn and go through all this other stuff. And it's like, get clear about what you want for you. Get clear about, you know, like you said, one point, to pick something and ride that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Just write it. You know, sometimes we think we need to be doing a million things, and it's like, no, just do one thing, write it out. And then when you feel like you've gotten everything, then you pick something else that you feel like it's going to elevate you. But it's just like sometimes we want to like do so many things and we're looking for the Band-Aid and whatever. And it's like, it's work. It's like,
essentially, you know, it's like, you know, the one pointed is there's really one relationship. There's only one relationship, and it's relationship with God or source or creation or whatever you want to call it. And then from that relationship, like you said, we just choose. You know, you want to help kids, then do that. Do that. And, you know, some days you may not feel like doing it.
mm-hmm.
But it doesn't matter, because like what's most important is your relationship with the one. So if it's serving your relationship with the one, then do it. And then if you're done doing it, like if you're finished with that, you know, hand it off to somebody else and then do something else that's more current for you with where you are in your life right now.
Do what you love.
Do you love? Okay, so that's a little bit about Vanessa Stone. So you guys can check her out at vanessastone.org. Now they also have the AmalaFoundation.org, and this is the foundation that Vanessa founded that works with kids. They do this thing called the Youth Peace Summit. Ludmia, you would love this. They bring together teens from all over the world, different cultures, kids who are refugees that went through all kinds of things. And they like have a week-long camp with Vanessa where she just has these amazing conversations with them about life, about current things, about how to be a woman of color in this kind of world, and how to be with each other. It's just extraordinary. So I wanted to play a song that was created by the Amala Foundation. This song is based on the words of the Dalai Lama. And then these kids produced this song to share with the world.
Every day, think as you wake up. Today, I am fortunate to have woken up. I am alive. I have a precious human life, and I'm not going to waste it.
Every day, think as you wake up. Today I am fortunate to have woken up. I am alive, I have a precious human life, and I'm not gonna waste it. Every day, think as you wake up. Today I am fortunate to have woken up. I am alive, I have a precious human life, and I'm not gonna waste it.
Check it out, precious human life. Watch the video too, you'll be moved. You watch them produce it, some cool kids. really like up to something. It's the youth, the future. Thank you. Thank you, Vanessa Stone, for the work you do in the world, representing what it is to be of service, a spiritual teacher, and just a beautiful human being. I love you. Okay. Sunset, who's next?
We're going to go into the only little prayer you need.
Do you know the name of this woman?
Deborah, or the name of
The author, yeah.
Deborah Engel.
Deborah Engel. So she wrote the book, The Only
Little Prayer
You'll Need. Okay,
It's amazing.
Awesome. Okay,
right.
so we're going to play a little intro.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to listen to her.
Please heal my fear-based thoughts. But even though the prayer really is simple, I found that within a short amount of time, I was experiencing some things that were remarkable and even miraculous. And since that time, so many people around the world have been touched by this prayer. Instead of overcoming and feeling the fear and doing it anyway and struggling for years and years, what this prayer does is gives us access to a higher power, the higher power that's available for all of us, but that we so often forget to ask for help when we need it. In fact, the subtitle to this book is The Shortest Route to a Life of Joy, Abundance, and Peace of Mind. And truly, when we use this prayer, instead of all of the struggle, we're asking for a healing to be done in us that we can't do for ourselves. Instead of asking for the world around us to be reshaped and rearranged to make us happy, something that we know doesn't work or is only a temporary fix at best, what this prayer does is it asks for something within us to be rearranged so that we can experience peace no matter where we are and no matter what situation we're in. I hope that you'll check out The Only Little Prayer You Need. You can go to deborahengel.com.
All right.
So how did you discover this?
It is the most random story. I actually was on my way to meet, was it you? I think it was someone else at the farmer's market.
Uh-huh.
I had a very time schedule, and Zayna knows, like, I, like, make a schedule the night before. I have everything planned out. It's, like, to the T. I don't diverge from my schedule. Okay.
I try to be like that. I'm like shaping it up. I'm trying. I really am, but...
Ludmia's a master. She teaches people to do it, too.
So I was like, okay, I need to go to the market. And then I ended up at Barnes & Noble by my house, the opposite direction of the market. I was like, you know what? I'll just go to Trader Joe's instead. It's perfectly fine. But I ended up at Barnes & Noble's instead of Trader Joe's. And I'm going through the aisles, and I'm like, I feel lost. And I really did. I truly felt lost. And so I was just walking through the aisles, picking up random books. And then I finally had 2 books in my hand. I'm like, great, I'm going to just check out, go, good to go. And as I was walking by, I saw the spine of this book, The Only Little Prayer You'll Need. And I'm not like a religious type, so any book that has prayer in it, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. But I picked it up, and I was like, oh, okay, this looks interesting. And I just grabbed it and went. Didn't open it up yet. But, like, to a little background story of, like, what I was dealing with at the time when I picked up this book was this, I had just decided to go back to school. And I used to go to school in Atlanta, and I had, like, a dual degree, a dual concentration. I was working on an undergraduate thesis.
Sounds like me.
I was doing a lot. And, like, the one thing I was not doing was taking care of myself. So I was diagnosed with clinical depression. I had suicidal ideations. I was Baker Act. Like, I had the whole shebang, and I had to move back home. And for the longest time, I never felt worthy. I never felt smart. I didn't know what I was doing with my life because I was just like, well, you know, this is it. Like, the one thing I thought I had, which was school, I thought I was smart, and I, like, flunked out of that, so I was like, forget it.
Oh, girl, we are so connected right now. It's not
She is, like, the most incredible woman I know. Isn't it awesome? But thank you for your authenticity, Mia. You know, it's like, it's so beautiful. It's so inspiring that you you know, that just sharing your story, how you're sharing it. Thank you.
For sure.
So now you got this book.
So I got this book because I'm going back to school. I'm in school, and I went to school and I changed my whole major. Like, I changed everything because from the time that I've left school, like, I tried to go back, but I wasn't really happy. So I was like, you know, I'm going to take a break. I ended up doing the yoga teacher training program at I Love Yoga. Became a yoga instructor. Left my full-time job to teach yoga to kids in school. Me and my friend, we went to schools and we taught yoga to kids. And it was absolutely amazing from 18 months to 13 years old.
Go, girl.
What?
And after doing that for a year, I was like, I want to keep doing this. There's something about it that's like, my soul is like, yes. So I was like, I started looking into things and I was like, I'm going to be a pediatric physical therapist. Got it. No problem. I'm going back to school. Now, granted, I was a business major before, so now I'm taking all my sciences. So I'm going back to school and I'm like, I have so much anxiety because I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I'm going back to school. I've never taken science classes. Like, I feel like someone was sitting on my chest at all times. And like the major point of anxiety was like, I was driving and I started getting so anxious I blacked out and I hit a car. And then after that point I was like, okay, this is not working out. This is not working out. So I picked up that book, like I think maybe 2 days later I found the book and I started reading the book. The moment I started reading that book, saying that it changed my life is an understatement.
Wow.
I will always say 2015 was the year I found peace.
Come on.
Because of that book.
Wow.
So the book talks about
Oh my God, I love it.
So the book talks about all your thoughts come from two different things. It's either it comes from fear or from love. Everything can come from there.
Yes.
You can trace anger back to fear, doubt back to fear, confidence, even sometimes confidence, like overconfident, that's like fear.
Right. Covering up something.
It's covering up something. And the whole basis of the book is once you've acknowledged that all your thoughts are either love or fear, the fear thoughts, they technically don't exist. You're fearing something that's not real. Okay? And the way we pray, if we do pray, it would be like, please God, please help me. Like, for example, she says this in the book. She goes, please God, help me find money to pay mortgage for this month. And it's something so simple. And it's like, I grew up in church. This is how I was taught to pray. Like,
wow.
Please God, let me be okay. Let me make it to school on time. Let the flight be okay. All this stuff.
Wow.
And she talks about how if you really do trust God, having that prayer is a prayer of doubt.
Absolutely. It's a fear-based prayer.
Yes.
Oh, my.
And how saying the prayer, please heal my fear-based thoughts, whether it may be, please heal my fear-based thoughts on my mortgage or whatever it may be, it takes it out of, okay, I'm not doubting you, but heal my thoughts that are based out of fear.
Oh, and then my actions change when those thoughts change.
Exactly.
Mia, I changed it a little bit. I'm really rigorous with the language stuff, and like okay. Mia called me like I don't know how many months ago, and she's like, Z, I have something for you. And she shared this with me, and she was like, just telling me how she was like, everybody she saw, she would get a book for them. And I looked it up, and I read about it, and I just loved it. And since then, I have a reminder. It goes on every day. It goes on every day. It pops up on my screen. But this is what it says. It says, please, God, help me to heal my fear-based thoughts. It's just an extra step of being responsible for that. I'm the one that's like, through God's grace, I'm healing myself. I'm healing that fear-based container that I exist in that's been really passed down from generation to generation. when you do the Landmark Forum, they say the clearing that you come into as a human being, like there's a clearing we are born into. It's the clearing of fear. It's the clearing of being afraid to be alive, being afraid of life. So, yeah, I know. Little babies, little baby humans come into fear. But then there's light, you know, there's enlightenment, there's teachers, there's awareness, there's no more secrets. You know, a lot of these teachings were secrets, and now it's like the teachings are available. There's more teachers than ever, and we're all like getting these things.
Word. And then it's like what you were talking about earlier about being clear and being one-pointed, and then about, you know, not praying from fear is like, you know, when we pray a lot, sometimes, like, this is what I learned in Vipassana, is like, we'll pray, oh my God, please, Jesus, you know, come. Instead of taking the time to embody the characteristics of what made him so enlightened.
And celebrate.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's like, all right, you know, think about it. Jesus loved even people who were being ignorant. He loved people who, you know, in still being compassionate and all that. But sometimes we have an understanding of those ways of being on an intellectual level, but we don't try to embody and feel them in our souls in that way.
Yeah, like I don't think Jesus prayed like in a fear-based way. Mm-mm. He really spoke to God. Like he spoke to God like it was like his father, and he was asking for guidance.
God,
and like
yo.
Right?
I could imagine. Like
he was like, yo, God, man, these humans. Help me be with these humans, God. I mean, help me have more compassion for these humans, God, right? It's like, help me like open my heart more, God. Oh. How was it for you? Like, okay, so you discovered this, and how did it change how you lived?
Yeah, well, after I started saying the prayer. What?
What? Tell us.
Well, after I started saying the prayer, it's like, for me, like, the prayer as it was kind of gave me a relief. Because me as a control freak, I always have to do everything. So giving it up to God, giving it up to a higher power, like, made me see, like, I'm not really in control.
But prayer does that anyways, right?
No, for sure.
But I just so get that. It's like you have the power of surrendering, and what you're surrendering to now is like a powerful prayer.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's, yeah.
So
you would do it every day?
I did it every day. I did it, like, on my car ride.
So you repeat it over and over?
Over and over. But I'd say about different things. I'd be like, please heal my fear-based thoughts on my grades for the semester. Please heal my fear-based thoughts on my self-worth. Please heal my fear-based thoughts on my finances. Please heal my fear-based thoughts on my relationships.
Yeah.
Like, I just repeat it with every aspect of my life and, like, acknowledge that I do have fear-based thoughts on every aspect of my life and just give it up. And when you take all that away, that's like all the chatter in your head. Yes. You're able to focus in a way that's unbelievable.
Wow.
And results get produced out of nowhere.
It's like root. Like getting to the root of things instead of getting to the symptoms.
Exactly.
And your symptoms are changed now because you're shifting the whole water that you're swimming in. Wow. So you started sharing this with people, everybody that you knew. You just started buying the book for people. She would like...
Every time I saw a friend, because I like threw myself in school and I was like a full-time student. I didn't get to see my friends often. But when I saw them, I was like, I need to get you this book. You need to read this book. It's like, it's vital to life.
Wow.
Because out of all, I've been in and out of therapy, like... I've gone through yoga, teacher training. I've done so much. And, like, to see, like, to read this book, do the prayer, and really find peace through that one simple prayer.
Yes.
Dude, I would stand on a street corner and be like, here's a book, here's a book, here's a book.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, Mia, thank you so much. So, guys, the book is called The Only Little Prayer You'll Ever Need by...
Deborah Engel.
By Deborah Engel. That's what's up, Mia. Thank you for being on the show. Thank you so much, guys. We're gonna take a little break. We're gonna come back and talk about Sunset's one of Sunset's spiritual teachers, and we're gonna listen to some of our partners and our sponsors. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for, just supporting Z Nation in whatever way that you support. We feel you, we love you, and we appreciate you. We'll be right back right here on SoFloRadio.com.
Tune in to get tuned in. This is ZNation on SoFloRadio.com.
Add a twist of yoga.
Yoga Twist with Julie.
A great way to integrate yoga, meditation, and lots of fun.
Promote family bonding. Help with flexibility and exercise.
Julie has been teaching kids for over 8 years in after-school programs, summer camps, and local studios.
Book a group, family, or one-on-one session now. Email me, yogatwistjulie@gmail.com.
Follow Yoga Twist Julie on Instagram and like Yoga Twist on Facebook for great family lifestyle tips and Yoga Twist events.
Omar is a certified hypnotist with an intuitive and gentle approach that empowers his clients, allowing them to realize their own wisdom. Personally, I'd been stuck in a heartbreak, and with Omar's help, I got to the root of my suffering and my attachment to staying in relationships that no longer served me. I instantly felt lighter and free from resentment for the first time in years. Contact Omar at 305-343-9210 and cause a breakthrough in your life.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Clark, and I'm a yoga teacher and student at I Love Yoga Studio. It's been my privilege to practice, learn, and expand in this place of ever-evolving love and spiritual growth. When you visit, you'll most likely be greeted with a welcome home, and that's exactly how you will feel, at home and free to be. The studio offers yoga classes that meet you at your level of practice with affordable prices. So check out our schedule at www.iloveyogastudio.com. See you on the mat. Namaste.
Join the ZNation team as a marketing partner. We are always looking for conscious, sustainable businesses to support and share with our growing community. If your business is one that serves humanity and you want the world to know, we want to help you grow. Sponsorship opportunities are available for all budgets and flavors. For more info, call us at 954-604-1290 or visit ZNationRadio.com.
Now, back to ZNation, your weekly dose of inspiration on SoFloRadio.com.
Things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light, I am light. I am light, I am light. I'm not the mistakes that I have made, or any of the things that caused me pain. I am not the pieces of the dreams I left behind.
I Am Light by, how do you say her name again?
India Ari.
Oh
my gosh, that song.
So beautiful. All right, Sunset.
Tough times.
Is you, girl, your spiritual teacher made a difference in your life?
Talk about it.
All right. So my spiritual teacher is Abraham Hicks. And I didn't really get into her until after my teacher training. So a little bit about that. Basically, a year and a half ago, I decided that I didn't want to be in school anymore. It just wasn't feeding me. And I was like sitting on the floor with my dog, and I was just like, okay. It was so much anxiety. Even though it felt like a relief, it was like, oh God, yay. I still had an anxiety, and it was an anxiety about like, oh my God, like, what are people going to think? And, you know, all this stuff. So it's like, I got into yoga, you know, just to feel like less anxiety, you know, like basic stuff. And it was feeding me for a while. It was like feeding me. I was so happy that I was there. It was so great. And then right after teacher training, it's like this anxiety came back. And I saw that the first thing I wanted to do was like, I wanted like a boyfriend. I wanted to get into a relationship, just something to like fill the space, right? And I saw that was a habit of mine to like fill something within me. And something that I learned when I was in Vipassana was that it was like this love. Like I say when I was there, like the biggest space that the biggest space that I've gotten the most sensation was in my heart. And I realized I'm in this space of like healing that. And I realized that a lot of the gentlemen that I did have in my life, like I was just using them to fill this thing or whatever. And then when I decided not to go to school, I realized that like, you know, I was really good in school. I had really good grades. I got scholarships, all this stuff. Everybody was so proud of me or whatever. And so I based my happiness off of that. And so that was taken away. And then I did teacher training, and that distracted me for a while. So I came out of like teacher training, like, oh my God, what am I going to find the next thing to like, you know, get that high from again? So then like my friend Topacio was like, you need to listen to Abraham Hicks. And listen to Abraham Hicks. So I noticed that I'm like, there was this recurring theme when it came in relationship about, you know, always like not having my own life. It was always like I like made myself about them and didn't have anything for me. And so I started listening to Abraham Hicks, and I realized I needed to change my vibration and really like fill myself and start looking at the whole like foundation of what that even is, you know, for me, because the way it was like you give your whole life to this person, and I'm like, that's not working, obviously. And what I realized is like right now I'm in a space where it's like I just want to focus on my relationship with me. And so that's what she taught me. So she's going to like talk a little bit about like how did I guess find that mate. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Things that are fun to do. I love
my bad, you guys.
Out there somewhere is this wonderful partner who is becoming a match to the desire that I've put out there. In fact, who knows? He might already be lined up and waiting in the wings for me. And now it's just my job to become a vibrational match to my own vision. And my own vision is that we get along really well, that we bring the best out of each other, that we have a good time together, that we're both interested in personal motion forward, that neither one of us has strong dogmatic beliefs that are holding us in a backward place. But we have open, flexible beliefs where we're willing to be who we are but expand together. I love the idea of coming into a relationship with someone who, like me, wants freedom, who can enjoy the togetherness that co-creating in a relationship can bring, but who isn't dependent on me, who is self-sufficient in the joy factor while I am self-sufficient in the joy factor. I can't think of anything more delicious than coming together with someone who's already tuned in, tapped in, turned on, and I'm tuned in, tapped in, turned on, and we're dancing through life together. I want somebody who is interested in thriving. I want somebody who already has money flowing in a very positive way. And I want to add the money that I'm flowing. I want us to have things that both of us are interested in doing, and I want us to be good at what we're doing, and I want us to be eager about what we're doing, and I want us to be expansive about what we're doing, and I want us to have plenty of time to do the things that are our career, while at the same time we're doing the things that are fun to do. I love traveling. traveling. I want somebody who likes to travel. I love being physical. I want somebody who likes to be physical. I love beautiful things around me. I want someone who cares about that. It's exciting to me to think about this person that's out there getting in vibrational proximity for me, and I can feel myself, even as I speak here, moving into that place. I know I'm not there all the way. I'm not ready. Universe, thank you for not bringing my mate to me today, but thank you for helping me know that I'm getting closer and closer. I'm actually beginning to feel anticipation. Maybe that's that person. Maybe that's that person. Maybe that's that person. Maybe that's that person. Ooh, isn't it going to be fun? And I believe that when I meet that person, I'm going to know that that's the person. I don't think that there's going to be any confusion about it. I don't think I'm going to have to ask other people's opinion about whether this is the person or not. I think I'm going to know right away. And I think this person's going to know right away. I don't think we're going to have to play that stupid dating game where we pretend like we don't really like each other when we really do like each other for fear that we'll run the other one off. I think we're going to meet up there with equal desire to be together. And I think rockets are going to go off and we're going to look at each other and we're going to say, how have you been? And I'm so glad to see you. And you were certainly worth waiting for. I'd wait another 5 minutes for you if I had to. Out there some...
Wow, that was great.
Right? Awesome. That's what I mean. And I think that was like, because, you know, you can get like a playlist, and I feel like that was one of the first ones. And what I got from that is like, if I want all these things, I need to embody these things first.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So something I've been really doing, like I was on a train, and it's so funny, like I healed a lot in Vipassana on my heart. And so I've been like I've been getting hit on a lot recently.
Asked out on dates and
stuff.
all
this stuff. And someone asked me, was like, what do you like to do for fun? And I was like, oh my God, like what do I like to do for fun? Like me now, this person at this moment, what do I like to do for me? And then after I wrote it out, I was like, all right, I want to start actually doing these things. Wow. Because something she says is like, you know, when you are, you know, tapped in, turned on, and vibing, you're going to meet somebody in that space that you're already at. So like a simple example, like
somebody who's going to meet your vibration.
Exactly. Like if you like art and you go to places with art, you're going to meet someone who likes art and likes going to places to art. A lot of times we want to mold ourselves into like this other person. It's like, live your life for you. And when that person comes, they'll come. And now I'm in a space where it's just like, when I listen to her like relationship videos, I listen from a space of like my relationship with me. Like I'm in this space where I just want to hug me, and I'm like, I love me and I love you so much, and I care about building that relationship with myself instead of like going out and doing that. Again, I'm not saying you have to be in this journey alone. I'm just in this space of like, I used to say like, oh, I don't mind being alone, but I really didn't, you know, feel that way. I really, all that.
It was a front.
Yeah, it was a front.
Yeah.
And it's not that I want to be alone now, but it's just I'm in a space where I'm just like, you know what? I wrote a list of not even like what I want in a relationship, just what I want from my life.
Yeah.
And then someone, and not even just like a boyfriend, I mean like just friends and probably family members are just going to match up to that, and we're going to just vibe, because I don't like that whole dating thing like she was talking about.
Yes,
like,
the games.
Yeah.
And what about the possibility of like, you know, actually, you know, perhaps having a partner, being in a relationship, and being like on your path, like being alone while you're with someone is what I call it.
Yeah, and I mean that's what she was saying, is like, I have my own things, I'm healing, we're always evolving, because we are always evolving. Who I am in this moment, I'm not going to be the same person in the next moment, but it's just like being okay with that. And I think like having communication and like knowing that like we're always evolving. I don't want someone who's always going to be the same all the time, because that's just not how it is. It's like we're always evolving,
growing.
Yeah, it's like we're always doing that healing for ourselves. And so yes, we're always going to be changing or whatever. So I don't know, it's just like these certain things that, you know, we ask for in other people, and I'm realizing I'm like, if I'm going to ask that from you, I need to do that for me.
Like Abraham Hicks consciousness, like that, the stuff on relationship, it just really nails that down. To be responsible for yourself 100% is what it is to be in a relationship. Like there is absolutely no room to point the finger out. There is just pointing the finger back at me all the time.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Man.
So clear.
But yeah, she like changed my life. And you know, I realized that it's like if I'm in front of somebody and I'm feeling, she calls it like when you have wobbles, then maybe that person is not for you. Even if everybody else is telling you like, man, he's such a great guy, he's such this, but if it's just not for you, it's not for you. It's okay. And if maybe there's someone that you feel like you vibe to and everybody else is kind of like, well, it doesn't matter. If it feels right to you, then it feels right to you, and that's where you are at. You know, I feel like a lot of times it was like, oh yeah, he's like great for like the outside, like, you know what I mean?
The image,
like,
you fall in love with the image.
Exactly. And it's like, I really didn't really care about you.
Yes.
And so it just, I don't know, she really changed my life. I like how you can just put like Abraham Hicks and then whatever emotion or situation, and something's gonna pop up and like boom.
There's so many topics that she discusses. I mean, we had like relationship. Did you have another one you want to share?
Yes, I did.
Let's play one more.
Yes.
There's just really, really great stuff. And I love how simple, you know, all of this is. It's worded all so simply, whether it's the prayer of Vanessa Stone or Abraham Hicks. It's like everyday language. There's no like woo-woo. There's no like technical stuff.
We think we need like a cauldron.
It's just simple. Like just,
you know.
I love it. But it's true.
Yeah.
It's like the simplicity is what people like kind of why we overlook it. Like why I would overlook a prayer like that, or why you may overlook something as simple as nature.
Exactly.
But it's that in the simplicity is where life happens.
Yes, in the lessons.
Straight up.
Fear means you've chosen. So you're sort of in a trap, aren't you? When you say, I want to go away from what I'm afraid of, we say, too late, you're already there. Fear itself means you have chosen a thought that vibrates in a way that disallows the fullness of who you are, which is resulting in this sensation that you are describing as fear. We would begin calling the word fear what it really is: a fabulous, well-deserved, well-earned, appreciated signal or symbol of resistance. We'll go further. The fear that I feel, this blessed fear, is a signal to me of a thought that doesn't serve me, of which I have deliberate creative control. Now you've put it into the right context.
Wow. Fear. I heard an acronym recently. It says, excuse my language, fuck everything and rise. So that was Abraham Hicks. Really awesome, you guys. So thank you so much for sharing, Sunset. You know, it's just amazing. We have access to these amazing teachers, and I love that we put this panel together today so that we can just share, like, you know, what we've encountered on our path that made a difference for us. And that's all we're doing. You know, people are like, you know, whether you're passionate about yoga, you're passionate about Abraham Hicks or Wayne Dyer or Deepak, like whatever it is that like has moved your soul and transformed your life, why the heck not share it so others can also utilize these tools and awaken their hearts? Yeah. So keep sharing. Thank you.
And
all.
once you find a teacher, you know, actually go experience those teachings. Yes. That's my word of advice, because you can hear, I can keep hearing Abraham Hicks, but if I don't choose to, like, all right, at this moment, like when she was talking about fear, like if I don't choose to, you know, do something about that, then I'm just listening. I'm just
live the life. Be about it. Be about it. Let's be about it, y'all. We talk so much. Wah, wah, wah. That's why I have a talk show. I love to talk, and let's be about everything that we talk about. Let's honor our word. Really, really be mindful of the thoughts that we give attention to, and be kind and generous to ourselves and to others. So if you can take a moment with us right now, if you're able to uncross the legs, if you're seated, close your eyes if you're not driving. Every day, think as you wake up. Today I am fortunate to have woken up. I am alive. I have a precious human life, and I'm not gonna waste it. No, I'm not gonna waste it. Go on with your bad and good selves. Have an extraordinary life. Keep keeping on. Know that we're here. We're in this together. Everybody on the planet, the global tribe, the global community is spreading the light, sharing the light. And, let's be there for one another, y'all. We love you. Namaste. Peace.
Namaste, y'all.
Oh, and I'm not going away.
Broadcasting from the heart of downtown Hollywood. This is SoFloRadio.com.